Coach, just what was it about this opportunity at Tennessee that made you want to be part of this staff, part of this program?
Yeah, being from North Carolina, I've always kept Tennessee like in my vision, and it's, you always hear about the program and how great it is, and it's a special place. And I've had a couple of people that I know have been here before, who worked here before, and they've always had great things to say about it. And so when the opportunity presented itself, for me it was a no-brainer. To work with a legendary Hall of Fame coach at this great program. It was an easy call for me.
Coach, one of the things that Coach Barnes really prides himself on and is obvious here is the culture that he's built since he's been here, that he brought in. What is your perception of that culture, and how do you think you fit into it? What do you think makes you a fit for that culture?
Yeah, I love Coach. I love how he runs his program. He does it the right way. He doesn't cut corners, doesn't play in the gray area. He's always respectful of his players. He treats them well, while also, challenging them and pushing them and motivating them. And so for me, that's what I'm all about. That's what I look for, one, and as I'm recruiting players, and that's what I look to do myself as a coach. So, just being able to witness how Coach does things and to hear how he runs his program, and now to be here is definitely a special deal.
We'll go to Mike Wilson and then take more questions.
Yeah, Justin, when did your relationship with Rick Barnes start? I mean, what were your kind of early impressions, early relationships with him?
Yeah, well, I don't know how much we talked, but, when I was at NC State as a player, Coach was at Clemson for 2 years. And so we had some battles back then. And, he had some great teams, really good teams down at Clemson. And so I would say our relationship goes back to then, and then kind of as years have gone, not as much, but we know a lot of the same people. Like, probably the second most influential basketball person in my life, Coach Freddie Johnson, who's the head coach at Greensboro Day School. He and Coach Barnes' relationship goes way back to when Coach was just getting going at Davidson College. And they have a relationship, they have a friendship. The guy that I played for, Herb Sendek at NC State, also worked for Coach Barnes at Providence. And, I also worked for Coach Sendek out at Santa Clara for a season. And so in an indirect way, as Coach mentioned earlier on in the interview, I'm really connected and really close with some people that, that's in his life and he's really connected with as well.
David Pascal and Grant Ramey.
Justin, congratulations on you maintaining the fountain of youth. You were always one of the youngest looking point guards when you played at NC State. Along those lines, having played point, how excited are you to have the opportunity to work with someone like a Kenny Chandler?
Well, Dave, first of all, thanks for the great compliment, man. I have a 21-month-old, and I tell you what, I feel older and older every day. So for you to say that, man, that goes a long way. But the opportunity to be able to work with Kenny Chandler, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. I've watched him from a distance. I'm a guy that, that loves studying, watching the point guard position. And so when you get a young guy like Kennedy that plays that position at a high level and is versatile at that position, he can score it. He makes his teammates better. And at the end of the day, he's all about winning. Like, I'm just so excited. I'm pulling out old film because I know he's going to challenge me too, and it's going to be, it's just going to be a fun experience. And I can't wait.
I don't know if it's me up next, but how unique is it as a coach to join a program where half the roster is overchanged? There's, 2 new coaches on staff. It feels like really this is almost kind of a starting over point. How unique is it to join that?
I've dealt with it before. When my first year at Arizona, it was kind of similar. It was a big overhaul of the roster, and then myself and another coach, were coming in. And so, again, you was building from the ground up pretty much. We had to really hit that transfer portal. Got a couple good high school guys late, and you just had to roll. The thing I've learned in that is, you're going to be as good as the people that you're with daily. And the great thing about here is we have an established culture that's established by Coach Barnes, and then Coach Schwartz has been with Coach forever, and so those two guys in place make it a smooth transition, I think, for Coach Rod and I to come in, and both of us are we're selfless, we're egoless, and we just want to come in and be as successful as we possibly can. And so it's different, but I've been a part of it and I know what it looks like. And when you have good people with an established culture, it makes it a lot smoother.
Rick Russo, then Ben McKee.
Hey, Coach, welcome to town. Talk about the prospect of recruiting young athletes to a place like Tennessee.
Yeah, the great thing about Tennessee, because I've been some places, where when you tell them where you're from, they be like, who, what, where, and you have to really break it down to them. And hey, our colors are XYZ and our mascot is so forth and so on. And, the great thing about the brand of Tennessee is that, everybody knows it. You walk in the gym with that on your chest, that on your polo, especially in our region, is something that these young guys want to be a part of. And so it's, for me, it's great. It is great. And, really excited about just being able to recruit these young men that care so much and they like the university, and the brand is recognizable, and hey, it's going to be fun.
Coach, Jonas was committed to the school that you were previously at. Just so I would imagine that you know him as well as anybody, if not more. Just what is Tennessee getting in him, and what will be key to him contributing early as a freshman?
Yeah, good question, man. And the correct pronunciation is Jonas on it. But, first of all, Jonas is he's a high character young man. He is, through the process to get to where he is now, very much what people would call now a late bloomer, right? He kind of took off a little slow, had to figure it out, hit a late growth spurt, had to transform his guard skills into being a 7-footer. And, people didn't really follow him early on. And so because of that, I think he has a humbleness to him. He has a likability to him, and he hasn't been scarred by some of the things that come with being highly touted at a young age. But, the first off, he's a high character young man. He comes from a great family and a great support system. He's a hard worker. He loves the game of basketball, and he loves to work at it. He wants nothing more than to be in the gym and to be improving and keep working on his game. And then he has a great personality, especially for a big. He got a little little kid in him where he just likes to have fun sometime. I don't know if you notice his TikTok numbers, but they are ridiculous. I've been trying to get him to teach me how to become more popular on TikTok, but I don't think there's any hope for me on that. But he has just a great sense of humor, a great way about himself that I think the fans and his teammates are going to love. From a basketball standpoint, he's skilled. He's a 7-foot skilled player. He can play back to the basket. He can face the basket. He can handle a little bit, does a little bit of everything. I think the biggest area we're going to need to improve is just the physical, him being able to handle the physical nature of the college game, which, I think all freshmen have that learning curve.
Go ahead, Ben McKee.
I just went. Sorry.
We'll take one last call then for questions for Coach Gainey. All right, Coach, thank you very much. We'll transition to Coach Clark now.